The news is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Tertola Pier Park, NV Salon, Nail Spa and Barbershop, Tisley Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, and Digicel, simply more speed, reliability and entertainment. Senior legislator in the House of Assembly, Honorable Julian Fraser, is pushing to have corrected legislatively gaps that exist between the Liquor License and Noise Abatement Acts.
A nightclub license, which shall entitle the holder of this license to sell liquor in and upon the premises in respect of which the license is granted and for consumption on such premises. From what I'm reading here, Madam Speaker, it is telling me that the license grants the holder permission to have a nightclub. So when I grant you this liquor license, I'm granting you permission to have a nightclub. So which means that you're actually issuing licenses for nightclubs, not just the sale of liquor, but to have a nightclub. Well, you know, a nightclub has other things besides the sale of liquor. Well, it has music. So you're taking ownership of the music at the nightclub by issuing this license. And my question to you, how can you divorce yourself meaning this license to sell liquor, from the noise that the nightclub is going to make? In 2015, we were all living in this neighborhood peacefully. 2017, after the hurricane, you decide your house had a little damage, so you're moving. You moved from this neighborhood, went into another neighborhood, you fell in love with that neighborhood, so you decide not to come back to the old neighborhood. So what did you do with the place that had a little damage from the hurricane? You fix it up. You fix it up and somebody turns it into a bar. You couldn't care less because you live somewhere else, so you turn it into a bar. The next thing you know, the bar is right outside my bedroom window. The bar couldn't get outside my bedroom window unless the minister issued a license to sell liquor there. So in that regard, the minister should have some form of responsibility in ensuring that if the person wants to sell liquor under my bedroom window, they should be doing it in a way, shape, form, and fashion that does not disturb me. And we can achieve that if only people would be responsible, or if the authorities ourselves would make the laws in such a way, not inhibitive, make the laws in such a way that people can coexist. For the longest time, no matter how much you talk about it, that we need zoning in this territory, nobody does it. And it's a nuisance. The absence of zoning in this territory is a nuisance.
Premier and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Natalia D. Wheatley, in laying on the table the proposed amendments to the Liquor License Act of 2019, did allude to there being a challenge.
But without a shadow of a doubt, zoning is a challenge. You might have a nice, quiet residential community, and someone decides that they want to open a bar right in the middle of it. And of course, you know, it may be their land, but of course, persons in that community may feel aggrieved by it. So I believe that we have to have a much more extensive discussion, Madam Speaker, about the issue of zoning.
Meantime, the mover of the motion for the amendments to the Act, Premier Wheatley, touched on a few points. One, that of drinking responsibly.
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I, on an occasion, am a partaker of strong drink. I don't know if I have sinned, because I read in the Bible Jesus turned water to wine so that the party could keep going. So I don't know what person's belief is as it pertains to it, but I believe everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. And they say wine good for your heart sometimes. It's made from grapes, and grapes very healthy. So every now and again, I am a partaker, just occasionally, in strong drink. And so I say that to say, Madam Speaker, it is important when you make legislation that you engage persons who are involved in the activity. Also, Madam Speaker, the bill deals with things like requirements to have security cameras and security guards, which certainly creates an expense. We must say as well, Madam Speaker, it's important for us to be balanced, because while it creates some level of expense, from a safety standpoint, from the standpoint of ensuring that those persons who come to your establishment feel safe and secure, and that if an incident takes place, that you have visual and recorded evidence of what took place that could assist in an investigation, that can assist to convict a criminal. Unfortunately and regrettably, we've had several persons lose their lives in establishments that serve alcohol. You know, God rest their souls. But having that camera there would have helped to be able to detect and prosecute the perpetrators of these crimes. So we have to take a balanced approach. We can't just look at the expense. Some expenses are necessary, but certainly we don't want to, make it so prohibitive that persons cannot operate their business. I made a little joke before about partaking in strong drink. But I certainly want to make it very clear, Madam Speaker, that even in going through this legislation, we have to be very aware of the negative consequences of drinking too much alcohol.
The House of Assembly ended in committee on November 15, with members working to amend the act, taking into consideration many of the points raised during community consultations with key stakeholders and others.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.